So there are 6 colors in Mythgard. We are going to start today by just playing a 2-color mid-range deck. So this is a green-orange mid-range deck, which is just playing like reasonable quality cards and lots of things that draw cards and generate card advantage. So we're hopefully going to 2-for-1 our opponents a bunch while we eventually win the game. What do my missions look like? Let's refresh that one. Which faction mission am I on? All right. Let's jump on into ranked here. Where can I learn more about the colors in Mythgard? Just by looking through the cards, I guess? Are you looking for like lore type stuff? I believe their official Discord server has some lore type stuff on it. So there's 2 fundamental differences between Mythgard and Magic that are going to be... Hey, Inhumane Rabbit, thanks for the support. I appreciate it. Good to have you here. So the first thing is that the resource system in Mythgard is very different from the resource system in Magic. So instead of having lands in your deck like you do in Magic, instead you can take any card in your hand and burn it for a resource and a gem of that color. So for instance, I want to play this orange 1-drop here, so I need 1 resource and 1 orange gem. So I'm going to go ahead and burn this to Heaven and Back card here. And then this gives me 1 total resource and 1 orange gem. And then I get to go ahead and play this unit out. When you deploy units in this game, they deploy on a 7-lane board here. And the way combat in this game works is a really interesting mix of both Hearthstone's and Magic's combat. So similar to Hearthstone, units attack other units directly in this game, which makes it incredibly interactive. But similar to Magic, there's a blocking element. So your units attack or block the 3 lanes directly across from them, or if they're on the edge of the board, they only do the 2 here. And what this means is if my opponent deploys a unit directly across from this, I can't attack their face. However, they've deployed their unit all the way to the right because they don't want me to be able to attack this. So when this attacks, I can't attack their thing because it's out of my two thing attack radius here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit their face here. Then I'm going to go ahead and burn... What do I want to burn here? I'm going to burn Detained, I think. I've got a 2-drop here. So a good example of the resource system in this game is both Gallows Boy and Dark Passenger cost me 2 resources, but Dark Passenger here explicitly costs double orange, so I can't currently play Dark Passenger because I've not burned 2 different orange cards for it. Gallows Boy is green, but only costs 1 green gem. So you'll see when I drag this one out onto the board here, it's going to use up my 2 resources and my 1 green gem, and both of these things replenish every turn. This maze here gains a toughness or a life every turn, and then they can drain 3 life from it to draw a card. So I want to deploy my Gallows Boy over here so I can attack this before it gains enough defense to draw a second card for my opponent. So Deadly explicitly only applies to combat damage. So I'm going to go ahead and have this kill here. This card's pretty annoying. It is a 2/3 that can't take more than 2 damage in combat, so generally it takes 2 combat steps to kill. That being said, I have Dark Passenger here. It's probably not worth burning that on here. I don't really have anything else to do with my resources for the turn, though. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and burn this other orange card in Dark Passenger. This is a little aggressive, but I don't mind filling up some cards in my bin so that way I can, like, play Raid the Tombs, which requires me to have 2 cards in my discard pile to draw 2. We were rewarded for being aggressive and picked up another Dark Passenger here to answer their next big scary. I think, like, only using 1 resource that turn would be pretty bad. So, like, from a resource efficiency standpoint, being aggressive with my Dark Passenger is appealing. Setting up the Raid the Tombs is also nice for later. Interesting they just deployed this right down across from here. Do they have some way to answer my Gallows Boy? It's weird that they would play this here and I'm just going to get to kill it. Strange. Alright, kill your thing, I guess. Alright, so Peri at the gates is a pretty sweet draw. I'm actually gonna burn the Raid the Tombs now since I drew Peri. So Peri's a 2/2. Then when it comes into play, I draw a card, then I divination 2, and then I draw another card. So it's a double cantrip, which is great. When you burn cards for resources, they aren't just destroyed. They go back into your deck and you can redraw them later. And you can see here on my deck tracker on the right, it marks the cards in orange with an orange dot for cards that I've burned back into my deck. It's important to know which cards or how many cards are remaining in your deck that have already been burned, because you can't reburn a card that's already been burned. You can also, there's a deck tracker for my opponent's stuff, so like they just burned the card Thunderclap, so if I missed the card that they burned, I can go over here and look and see, hey, what do you got? So this is a 5/4 that gets bigger every time I make a minion. Just gonna do this in trade here. I think it's out of hand pretty quickly otherwise. Kind of sad at my sequencing, the way this game has ended up playing out. Kind of wish that I would have, kind of wish that I would have kept the Raid the Tombs, because Raid the Tombs this turn alongside Dark Passenger would have been good. And that's one of the things I really like about the resource system in this game, is not only does it reduce flood and screw, but it introduces a lot of complex decision trees, because your sequencing in this game is not just what order am I playing my cards in, but it's what am I burning and how am I prioritizing what I'm burning based on the situations that I'm in. Bellathor, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I appreciate it. We'll always be here whenever you have more time for games. So this card's really good against my 2/2s. So this card says whenever an enemy minion dies, this fully heals. So this can like eat my 2/3 here and basically not take any damage. It'll heal right back up. I'm gonna go ahead and burn the Recruiter here and play the Volkov heavy. Covering fire. When you burn stuff, does it go into the deck or does it get removed from the game? Yeah, it goes back into the deck, but it's guaranteed not to be the top card of your deck. So one of the bigger pieces of variance in this game is how quickly you redraw a burned card, because sometimes you'll burn something that's bad and you'll redraw it like 2 or 3 turns later, which is a little bit unfortunate. But in general, there's a lot of player agency in this game. There aren't a ton of feel bad moments like that where you're like, oh, there was nothing I could do or this was outside of my control. Got some pretty good 7-drops here. This one, not quite good while we're ahead. This is when it comes into play, destroy all other minions. This is a good, like, safety valve, catch-up style card in case my opponent catches back up. Playing like a 3-color control or mid-range deck here, looks like. Can you feel it? There is a warded, so this can't take damage outside of combat. This is a phenomenal target for our traitorous murmur here. Just straight up mind control. So this kills their thing and then it tramples over. I think I'm going to go ahead and get this dead really quick, though. So this guy says, has a dies trigger. When he dies, I gain a maximum mana for every 2 energy he had. So I gain 2 mana starting next turn. We're going to go ahead and traitorous murmur this guy. And he has an activated ability where every turn he can draw a card and then shuffle a card from our hand back into our deck. Get to go ahead and throw away this created card, which is pretty great. I don't have anything super powerful in my bin. I guess I could just pick Peri back up. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and Wake the Bones, pick a minion back up from my discard pile. I'm going to grab Peri at the gates. But like, this is a 2-2 that draws 2 cards later. We cannot redraw the token card. So the token card, and just like when I picked this up, becomes ephemeral. And ephemeral means it's removed from the game if it would change zones again. So if this card would be put back into my deck or discard pile, it exiles instead. So Wake the Bones is a raise dead. It picks something back up from my discard pile, but it also makes it ephemeral. So, even though I have a 5-4 here, this can only take 2 damage each combat, which kind of sucks. I go ahead and Peri at the gates over here.
Fortune favors us.
Overlay appears to have unloaded itself. Thanks for the heads up. Stag sounds great. Definitely just want to stack a bunch of high-powered cards in my hand at this point. I think I'm going to go ahead and play out the recruit here.
Reporting.
Because then I can run back the same line as I did last turn, which is draw a card with this. And then throw back the recruit, which is great. Just like really leveraging my opponent's card against them. I think I'm just going to deploy another heavy over here. I'm far enough ahead at this point, and like my hand is good enough that I don't really feel like I'm overextending here. Like even if they sweep the board, I've got this picks a minion back up from my discard pile. This draws 2. This likely draws a card as long as the top card of my deck is a minion. So even if my opponent has something like a Get an Angel of their own or like a Misanthropy here to clean out the board, we're going to be in a fine spot. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Soren. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You still trample with Overrun, really? That's good to know.
A world of poisons.
Minions in the opposing 3 lanes have Blight, which means they get smaller every turn. Alright, so this puts you down to 16. This puts you to 11. I'm just going to Seal of Exile this. Raid the tomb, see where we go. Oh, the places will go. Herald of Pestilence is very strong. Big agree. That's another Peri at the gates. God bless. Big fan of drawn cards, chat.
Fortune favors us.
Oh, I can give Frenzy off of Braggy. That's probably a good suggestion. Oh, I already used him. I'm dumb. Burn a card for the turn. Hey, Corv Mox, thanks for the 17 months. So again, opponent really needs a sweeper. I should have put them to 3. I should have given Frenzy instead of drawing a card with this. Yeah, I agree. I think at this point, like, we just, like, thoroughly outvalued our opponent. Like, even if they have cleanup at this point, like, I've got a bunch of my 7 drops. I've got this that cantrips to replace itself. I've got Detained deported to, like, send a minion back to their hand. Be very surprised if they can catch back up at this point. Ah! When we played this last time before the balance patch they did 2 weeks ago, I think we went like 7-0. It's a lot of a lot of quality cards. This hand's pretty medium. A lot of expensive stuff, and I don't currently have another orange for this Ifrit. We like to draw a playable 2-drop. I mean, WotC sponsors all of the MPL players, Seth. Every single one of the MPL players has hashtag sponsored in their stream title.
Reporting.
Just gonna go ahead and cycle this overkill. And that was a little bit of that variance we were talking about earlier, where how quickly you redraw a burned card can sometimes feel bad. It's not too bad here. We're gonna eventually want this. Getting this overkill into my bin means I can raid the tombs next turn potentially too. So like, well, we'll burn a green card, raid the tombs, and play a Paris recruit. If you're someone that hung out from the Magic section, you haven't tried Mythgard before, and you're thinking about giving it a go, one of my best recommendations for people that are trying to get started with the game is definitely just check out their feature decks. So every person who makes a Mythgard account gets 2 decks out of a pool of, I believe it's about 30, assigned to their account at random. And these are decks that are complete to play either in ranked or unranked that you don't need to own any of the cards in to play. And twice per week, every Monday and Friday, which 2 decks you have from the pool rotate through. Really great way to sample the gameplay to see if you enjoy the gameplay before you put any dollars or time into free-to-play. I think I spent like 3 or 4 hours playing the feature decks before I decided to pony up for the starter pack and then some boosters. So I could brew some stuff. How big is the deck pool for feature decks? I believe it's about 30. If you go ask in the Discord server for this game, someone posted the links to all the deck lists for the feature decks at one point. They detained my dork. That's rude. All right, so we're gonna start by raiding the tombs and draw 2. So Gallows Boy, it's a Recruiter too. Okay, I'm just gonna burn Seal of Exile and play Recruiter here. It's a 2/3 that when it comes into play, if the top card of our deck is a unit, we get to draw it. It's a little unfortunate. So Slayer, that's a good question. Slayer does not increase damage if you're not dealing any damage to start. You get 2 feature decks from the pool of 30, Wargy. So you have two to your account at any given point. Some of the decks are a little bit more competitive than others. Usually the ones that are a little bit less competitive are doing something novel, showing off a good aspect of what the game's able to do in terms of deck building. Our hand's pretty well set up here. We're ahead on board at the moment, and we've got a Volko heavy next turn into Traitorous Murmur into Irku here. Probably burn off a Gallows Boy. Opponent's mostly just been fumbling around drawing cards so far. They're probably also playing a more mid-rangey deck. We could get, like, Misanthropia next turn, I suppose.
Covering fire.
Misanthropia is a sweeper, yeah. So this gives all minions Blight 3, so they slowly die. Well, not so slowly in the case of the little ones. Basically, every minion that was in play when that card was played gets -3/-3 every turn until they die, so this will be done on my next turn. I think I want to burn a... Huh? I don't really care if they gain extra resource from that, I don't think. I'm gonna do this here, and then go ahead and raid the tombs again, just gas back up some more.
Do we have a mission?
Hand's running a little bit low at this point. These Seal of Exiles aren't great. I guess probably one of those is going to be my burn-off next turn. Really love to find a peri at the gates. Develop board presence while also continuing to increase the size of our hand. We'd also love it if our opponent just, like, played out a good unit so we could traitorous murmur it. Just, like, turn their bomb into our own. Lets them pick a spell back up from their discard pile and make it ephemeral. They picked Misanthropia back up. Yeah, for sure. As far as Muldrifters go, it's definitely one of the better ones that I've played with in a game like this. Bald Mountain is a stupid card and I hate it. Don't hold back, Pelly. Tell me how you really feel.
Reporting.
Alright, I'm gonna hang on to this. I think there's a chance they might Blight Misanthropia this field as is. I think the rebalance Bald Mountain is fine. I think giving Ephemeral and reducing the Giving Ephemeral was probably the biggest upside change. They couldn't just, like, sit there and loop Traitorous Murmur for forever. That was a really big feel-bad experience. What's the best way to build up my collection in this game? You want to complete all the faction quests. So if you look on the missions tab, there's a different category for each of the 6 colors that require you to do certain things that those colors do. And I believe you can do them in unranked and single player games as well. You can also just buy booster packs too, like any of these games. But if you're looking to free to play, you definitely want to complete your daily missions and then work through all those faction quests. The factions quest gives you gold and wild cards. Was it always ephemeral? I don't remember that. I'm gonna Seal of Exile this. Which is a little aggressive, but I just don't want them to Bald Mountain next turn. And, like, they're definitely playing 4 of that card, and it's super annoying. So I'd rather not. You've actually run out of gas, chat. It feels weird. Yeah, I know it had a cost reduction thrown in there for whatever reason. So Stag picks a dork back up from our discard pile.
There are always consequences.
Yeah. And the fact that they stunned this means that I can't even slide over and then traitorous murmur this, which really sucks. Should have deployed the recruit over here. Let's just do this. Let's just spread out and then try and kill them here, because this is like a 10-10 with overrun. This might, like, this deployment might encourage them to misanthropia too, and I've got, like, unforgiving and stag in my hand, so, like, once this dies, I can stag it back. So, like, we're gonna have a really hard time outvaluing this bald mountain. It's just, like, going for the throat seems like the best plan. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Bosom. And thanks for the third of year, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Hey, agree. Variety's the spice of life. Like I also said, I'm excited to see where these folks end up at once they've had a year of like getting sets into their game. So this card stuns something. Can gain energy. It gets smaller when our opponent casts a spell, so that's not very good for us. I'm just continuing to stun my 4/4, yep. It's a peri at the gates, okay. Thanks for the 26 months hats, I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, I'm planning to do one other Mythgard day this week. Just like I said when I posted my schedule, I just wasn't sure when I was gonna build it in. My things have been a little hectic around here for the last month or so, so I didn't want to commit to days and then have something come up. So we'll do at least one more day this week of Mythgard, but I don't know which day it's gonna be offhand. I will probably post in the subs Discord when I figure out which days. I wonder what their win condition in. They're probably just like a volition kill us deck still, right? That's what most of the yellow deck is. It's not an elk, it's a demon, okay? It's just got antlers. And a really creepy tongue. Yep, stun my Tintin. Well, I mean, they're through 7 more cards than we are here. I wonder when they're actually going to play things that let them start winning the game. Mommy? They're running out of game actions here. Oh, right. This has Lurker. Huh? I just steal that to force the misanthropia? I feel like I do. Abomination plus Volition. Yeah, that's probably what they're doing. Both the Boneyards are like pretty clear though, right? So like we've both been reading the tombs. I suppose I'm gonna lose a bunch more minions before this game's over though. There's the Misanthropia we knew was coming at some point. Is there a way to see cards that were exiled in this game? I don't actually know how to see that. Deck tracker, okay. Banished, yep. It's only through one Misanthropia, so you could probably expect another one of those out of them. One is also in Mithril as far as ranking is concerned. Yeah, Blight does not stack. The highest instance just takes precedent. Ten. The people that made this game is an actual small indie company of 10 people. It's honestly impressive. They've done some really good work. What do I want to do here? Bella can make my spells cost less. Yeah, that's true. So I can do this and like detain, deport this. I've not burned a card yet, right? Maybe I just parry at the gates. Plus recruiter. Nah, I think I'm just gonna try and kill them.
Atonement.
I'm gonna drop this and pass. I think I need to just end the game here. Hey, thanks for the 9 months, Perpsy. Happy Monday to you as well. Traitorous Murmur. Do I have another detained deported in my deck? I have one detained in my deck. So let's lead on Peri. See if we can get a little fortunate. Huh? This is gonna slowly die to Blight anyway, so might as well run it down now. I'm actually gonna go ahead and slide this out of the way. I'd prefer it not get killed by that, because it gets eaten by that and then hits my face too. I think I just pass. So this is about to die to Blight. Depending on what else they deploy here, this might be the Get an Angel turn. Just to like kill this, depending on what we draw. They pick back up, they pick Traitorous Murmur back up, yeah. Huh, they pick Traitorous Murmur back up? Maybe it's cohort stag time then? And we knew that was coming, right? Because this is sitting here. I haven't been super impressed with Grinning Cobalt in this deck. I feel like rushing to get where I'm going faster doesn't seem super appealing, and I'd rather just like play my cards on curve. Like drawing this card at this point in the game feels awful. I think I'd rather just have like more good cards in my deck rather than having this 1/1 that's just like drawing Land War Elves on turn 80 is not great. Really? Well, that was really aggressive. Flame Sweep should be good against Soul Sisters. The Grawl slash dumb big green thing should be a good matchup. I don't know. If all those decks you just said are actually bad matchups, I'd probably take the deck and throw it away, would be my recommendation. But I think your assessment that those matchups are bad is off base. So they're going to get to Murmur this next turn, which sucks for us. I think I just need to burn heavy and play Gallows Boy here. So that way when they Murmur this, I can trade this into it. Only having 3 orange is a little awkward. Hey, thanks for the 12 months, Mr. 3000 the movie. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. So keeping me around. This will only take 3 damage per combat. I'm through both my Dark Passengers. Am I through both my seals? I have 1 seal there. I think I have 1 more in the deck. Oh, I'm not through my Dark Passengers. That must have been a different game. Sweet. I have a seal and 2 passengers here. Seal. Seal would be a very good draw because it gives one of our minions deadly, so we could trade this off here. Oh yeah, Scion of the Pride also lets us kill this. So ideally we want to kill this before they can activate Bald Mountain on it. Well, I mean, that's like pretty aggressive, huh? And again, I just like don't have more orange, so I can't do anything much here.
Do we have a mission?
Hot stuff coming through.
We're out of gas, chat. I need my octane. All right, we're dead. Just Boneyard plus Volition. What'd they pick that one back up with? I must have missed it. They have like a raised it or something that I missed. Cause we killed that guy, right? Oh, the stag. That's it. Yeah, the stag picks the thing up. That makes sense. I'm gonna actually make a couple of changes to this. I think not playing. What's that card called? I think not playing Born Again is probably a mistake. I'm gonna cut these grinning kobolds. Overkill. This card's probably not terrible. I feel like I want to try that one. The curve in this deck is missing 3s. We're good. I feel like I usually have infinite 3s. What are good 3s we can play? I could just play some Insurance Broker. This deck's not playing that card. Oh, Screamy Goat. Goat's a good idea. Honestly, I think Goat might be better than a Freet at this point. And if I cut a Freet, Insurance Broker becomes more appealing. Maybe I don't want this, this Kachi. Let's try this. The goat's really good since his upgrade. Giving things fragile on top of taking an attack away is a big game. Alright, definitely don't need Get an Angel on one.
Reporting.
They need marketing help. Screaming Goat should be the face of the game. Yeah, they're playing Forge, so that means they're going to be playing a deck centered on artifacts. Oh, did they buff this?
The magic flows.
I feel like I don't remember this being +8. Our forgelings are ephemeral, right? So deported will be good against them.
Do we have a mission?
Do we have a mission? Green, red. Whenever an opponent's minion deals combat damage to a player, it takes 2 damage. This artifact loses 2 durability. Yep. It's a pretty good exchange. Just get to eat your thing. Why are you so good, Screaming Goat? Why are you so good? Das Goat, ja. Dragon's Teeth. We each draw an extra card each turn. Yep.
The magic flows.
So, I get to champ power this over here, and then slide this over, and then do this, which feels good.
Reporting.
I'm gonna spread these out so we can start attacking into here and kill this living sword. Might just play the other goat and swing with the 1/1, because I don't necessarily want to play both of them out. They led our poor little goat astray, chat. He's just lost in the woods, all afraid and alone. He doesn't have a chance. So artifacts in this game, we haven't played against artifacts yet today. You can see each of these artifacts have a number on them. And one of the things this game does to encourage very interactive gameplay, oh, Insurance Broker is a great draw here, is whenever you hit your opponent, their latest artifact also loses durability equal to the hit that it takes. So you can see when I hit them, this Dragon's Teeth loses their durability. This artifact explicitly says every time we hit them, it loses durability and it shoots my thing. So that's specific to this artifact. But in general...
Reporting.
I'm gonna burn the Seal of Exile again, just like deploying more stuff out here so that way we can run them headlong into this living sword. Having minions die is good for the insurance brokers, so whenever any other minion dies, it gains energy, and then we can cash in 3 energy to draw a card. So when this dies, it gives 3 durability back to all of their artifacts. Blast as well, yep. Does not have armor though, so I think I'm gonna take this and slide it over and trade here. Oh, it puts the sword back up too. Huh? Wasn't thinking about that. How many artifacts can you have out? Yes. All of them. As many as you can play. Is it 5? Is there an actual hard count? Okay. Didn't actually know that.
Do we have a mission?
Some of them stack up, right? So you can have 2 of the same and it doesn't count towards your 5.
magic flows.
So we Screamy Goat over here, which makes this fragile. So these trade. Go ahead and just Dark Passenger here and trade these off. My opponent's almost out of cards at this point. It might be wrong to burn my 8/8 there, just because I do kind of want to just drop some heavy hitters.
Beginning.
Like work my way through their teeth. The fact they're having us both draw 2 cards a turn is a big deal. It means that, like, even though they're close to empty, they're not ever gonna hit empty.
Wanna burn?
Burn, baby, burn. Do 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 do. Next turn will be up to 8 resources, so I still can't double spell along with Iku. Wake the Bones is kind of a double spell.
Risen from waters.
How does Deadly and Overrun work in this game? Is it similar to Trample and Death Touch in Magic? They're gonna get to deport this now. It doesn't stop at 1 and trample the rest. Oh, good to know. Every your opponent draws a card, they take 1. Yep. Yep.
Risen from waters.
Alright, opponent's hand is almost empty, but again, we're just drawing 2 cards per turn. Their deck's just full of cards that are a little bit more resource efficient than ours. So kind of tough for us to get over that final hump. Especially with the tempo from Detained Deported seems really good in their deck. Gallows Boy is protected from the sword. Oh, that's a really good observation. Right, because it's warded. So we just like run headlong in. Maybe I should have put Gallows Boy over here. How high is the variance? 4 copies of a common that is good synergy, better than 4 random mythics that are just good. Depends on the deck. So like similar to the correct answer to questions like that in most games, the answer here is it depends. In terms of card quality, the mythics tend to be higher quality at the top end of your curve. Yeah, I definitely shouldn't have put Gallows Boy down here. Giga really punished us for that. They got to blow away my thing and even got banished, so I can't pick it back up. Which is brutal.
Covering fire.
Yeah, I really don't have anything that useful to pick up. We're rocking Knights in Historic. Nobody respects the 1 mana 2/1. Deck's very good. Big agree. Deck's very good.
Flame. Take you.
Yep. If you think you cheered and forgot to tag it to anything, drop me a DM on Discord telling me what day you cheered and how much, and I can go back and check Wargame. Just like taking 3 damage or 2 damage a turn from drawing cards. Okay, so I can put this here again. Oh, wow, both of these trigger. How does that work? Can I see, is there not durability on the bottom one, or how do I see the durability? Is there durability and it's going down as well? I don't know if I understand that aspect of what's going on with the stacking living sword. There's durability, but you can't see it. So they put a second stretcher on here. So every time I draw a card, I take 2. So I assume this game's going to be done very, very soon. Yeah, decks like what the opponent's playing are just very good against these mid-range decks. Yeah, the deck list up on the screen was added in the latest patch. I'd assume we're dead here. I don't have a way to really get through any of their stuff at this point. Their hand's just so super full. I'm taking 4 next turn. Yeah, we're very dead. Good games. That's actually lethal. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I prefer the red mid-range decks more than anything. Just because, like, I feel like we really just don't have a chance against the decks that are going bigger than us. Like, we've gotten clunked up a number of times, like, our Seal of Exiles were awkward there. They just, like, were punishing us for all of our middling card draw. I was having a hard time generating meaningful, like, double card turns. I don't know if there's really changes in here that I can make to fix those issues. Opponent's got Infuse as their power here, gives a minion +1 attack, so that probably means they're playing something more aggressive. Blank, you described durability. So artifacts come into play with a given durability, and then whenever you deal damage to your opponent, the most recent artifact they've played also takes that much damage. Kobok will help you most likely. Kobok was really unimpressive. I feel like I'm not interested in just like playing this mediocre ramp deck. Like playing a ramp deck where like I have a bunch of like random 2s and 3s in it as well. It doesn't sound super appealing. Put Gallows Boy in the middle for now. Wait and see what they do. We had Kobok in here to start. It just like sucks to draw in the late game. Like Kobok doesn't really fix the problem I just described.
Reporting.
Can't play out this Parasite recruit because I don't have a second orange. No second orange feels real bad. I also just like, again, like, good example of just kind of getting run down here, right? Like, I've got these heavies, like, cluttering up my hand. I just can't really do anything. Or these raid the tombs. Oh, I burned the wrong color card. Well, I had intended to use my other resources and raid the tombs that turn after detaining. I burned the orange card by mistake. Feels dead, man.
Covering fire.
What the oranges for in their deck? Maybe screamy goats or insurance brokers. Maybe they have the deadly card. What's it called? It's really good with a lot of the minions. Dark Passenger.
Flame. Take you.
Okay, there's Peri.
Fortune favors
I'm gonna drop her over here just so it can absorb the most damage possible. Because I think I'm just gonna get an angel next turn. Here. Oh, they just get to pick this right back up from their Journey of Souls. Yeah, I assume we're dead here. The board's just too wide at this point. Yeah, literally dead. Yeah, I agree. The artifacts, the Shredcher style decks, really just kind of feel like one of those things where if you're playing one of these mid-range decks, you just kind of have to punt it. Just one of those like matchup variant style things you just can't address without a sideboard. You know, I don't know. This one felt like a miss overall to me. I don't know really what changed. We could have just run a little bit bad in the matchup. I definitely think outside of that last aggro matchup, I felt like the control and the stretcher matchup that we ran into were just like pretty exceptionally bad as far as like our cards lining up into theirs. But you know, there's not. Yeah, I don't know. You just have like you look at the curve. I just have too many cards like Detained and Raid the Tombs that just like don't impact the board early enough. I felt like I didn't have enough good threes. Maybe we could play like a Freet on top of the Beast. But honestly, I don't really know that, like the green cards honestly kind of suck here. Like, I love the orange core, but I really feel like there's probably, I like red alongside it better, or yellow. I feel like complement orange better than green does. I feel like as far as green goes, I've liked it best in, like, the Reanimator style shells, and this just ain't it. Alright, I am going to run to the restroom really quick. And when I get back, speaking of Reanimator shells, we are going to try a little bit of this red-green Reanimator bag. So I'm going to hit an ad roll and run to the restroom. When I get back, we're going to give this one a go. So back in a few.